All right, it's 8:32, so I think we'll get started. Just want to thank everybody for joining this call. And one of the things we're trying to do with the new membership model. I'm Dean Gemmel, by the way, for people who don't know who I am. I'll introduce Lauren in a second. But for people who don't know about the new membership model, we're trying to stay on top of issues as much as possible. Lauren Rich will run this session, but she heads up member services for us and has done a lot of good work with Sport 80, which is the software platform we use for MyUSACurling. It's as I say to people, it's not, it can be challenging, but I haven't talked to anybody else in the NGB or sports world who loves their CMS system better. So we're sticking with it for the moment and solving things as we go. But with that, I'll turn it over to Lauren and let her walk you through things.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. My kind of goal for this meeting is to help you guys kind of make the most of the Sport 80 profiles for your clubs, but also selfishly that can help me too. So the more that you have access to your member information and can make updates and pull member IDs and stuff, that's going to be a really big help, especially as we're getting into the roster uploading season. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch straight into it. So we're going to go through a few things. But the first thing that I want to show you guys is how I upload a roster. So hopefully this format looks kind of familiar to most of you. This is the template that Sport 80 provides for us to upload the rosters into their system. So obviously these are not real people, and these are just not real birthdays, but I wanted to show you guys kind of the key parts for me and what I need from you for the smoothest uploads that we can do. So I've uploaded everyone who has a member ID through Awesome Curler number 19. These two members have existing profiles in the system. They have existing member IDs, and I just haven't populated those. So I wanted to show you guys what happens when we don't have the member ID on the roster. And then this member is missing a birthday. And you'll notice that we have 1900-0101 for a lot of these. In this case, it's because I got a little bit lazy making up birthdays for people, but also if we don't have a birthday on file on the roster that you submit, it is required that I have a birthday on the form or on the template when I upload it. And so I wanted to show you what happens if I don't have one. It'll kick it back to me and I have to put one in there. And so for adults, we usually put 1900-0101 to kind of flag it when we see it later, or if a member sees it, they'll know that their birthday is wrong and that we have to update it. But so this is kind of why we're asking for the information that we're asking for. And then I've populated the membership types that these fake curlers or that this club is uploading for these members. So we're going to go ahead and this is saved. And I'm going to pop over to my Sport 80.
MyUSACurling.
MyUSACurling, powered by Sport 80. So this is how I upload the rosters. I go down to, I'm doing a bulk upload. I go down to individual membership. I'm going to create accounts for people who don't already have one. And I'm going to upload that file that we just, everyone's seeing all of my recent downloads. And so now this can take a minute, but you'll see that we're missing some information. And we're also missing a region, which was not a problem before. So I'll go back to my spreadsheet. And I'm just going to make these at large. So if the drop-down menu doesn't appear in the roster, you can just kind of come down to an empty cell and it should appear there. And then once you have whatever you need in there, you can just copy paste or click and drag to fill. You can usually put that Windows query in the way. Sorry, this is exciting stuff.
We're watching spreadsheets.
Yep. All right, so I added the birthday back as well because I know it was going to cry about that. And back here, close this. Yeah. here. See, it's already cried that we have that missing birthday. I'll upload the file again. God, I hope it works this time. Okay, so I'm still missing a birthday and a last name. That's probably an extra cell down here, yeah. So sorry, this part is not supposed to be as painstaking for you guys as it is being right now, but just this gives you an idea of why we're being so particular when we ask for the stuff that we're asking for. It's really a huge help. Okay, it's really a huge help when we have everything already formatted the way that we need it. So we're going to go ahead and go. Does anybody have any questions about the roster uploads? Kathy's raising her hand. Go ahead, Kathy.
I think maybe you're on mute.
Kathy, you're muted.
Muted or still muted? We'll come back to you, Kathy, or throw it in the chat and I'll look out for it.
Is that better now?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. It's the first time I'm using Teams, so.
Oh, that's all right. Well, it's my
yeah.
it's my 1000th time and I still don't do very well.
So my
with it,
question is, I have a couple of members who have 2 IDs. So which one do I use? Do I send them both to you?
Yeah, if you send them both to me, I can merge those accounts for you. So what we're trying to do when we're making sure that there's a member ID populated when we do the upload, we're trying to avoid creating those duplicate accounts because it creates all kinds of problems. People have a membership on one account, but they have the email address access for another one, and they can't see their valid memberships. They can't access or SafeSport. There's just lots of trouble that comes from having duplicate accounts. So anytime I see them, I try to merge them when I see them. But if you know that you have them, go ahead and send me an email with a list of the members that have them. And if you know which 2 IDs, then that helps too. Because sometimes we'll have a really common name like John Smith, who might have, there might be 20 John Smiths and only 3 of them are the same person. So it really helps to have as much information when I'm trying to merge those accounts to make sure that I'm merging the correct people and not merging 2 different people into one account.
Okay. And on the same vein as IDs, I might have IDs for members who had taken a couple of years off that are older IDs. Should I put those IDs in? Should I email you first and double check that those IDs are correct?
Those, as far as I'm aware, those IDs should still be correct. So you can go ahead and populate those IDs into the roster. And if there's a problem with them, I should see it when I run a report before I do the upload.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Dominic has his hand up.
Yeah, while we're on IDs, I have about 100.
Might be somebody who's. Yeah, I got it, Lauren. Sorry.
Okay.
Somebody was just saying that there was a wrong link somewhere, so I was just trying to find where it was. But anyways, how did most people get in this meeting? From which link? Last email? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Carry on. Sorry.
Okay, so I have 100 maybe members from that started in the last year or 2 that we don't have the ID entered on our website. Is there a way I can download the list from Sport 80 so I can do a lookup function and not have to manually go through this?
That is exactly what I'm about to show you guys how to do next.
Oh, thanks.
So, Dean, are you able to update the link on the website?
I'm trying to figure out where it is real quick on the website.
Jessica just posted. It's the virtual education page. Jessica
got
just posted it.
Thank you, Jessica. All right, I got it. You carry on. I'll update that.
So I think Vieta also had a question.
Yeah, with the fact we've got a lot of juniors, where is your birthday cutoff between under 18 and 18 and over?
It's the same as the U18s. So that's we've got some echo again, but that's the I'll post that in the chat.
Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hop to the next thing, which is how you guys as club administrators or presidents, what you have access to and what you can pull from MyUSACurling. So if I go in as this awesome curling club, this is kind of the landing page. You can see that I set myself as a club administrator and that I also set Awesome Curler 10 as club president. So first we'll go through how to pull those membership reports, and then I'll show you how to assign roles and admins, and so assign the people who will be able to interact with this side of your profile. So I'm just a quick note here. I'm working on the test site. You can see that yellow button here because I didn't want to create a real club and put these on the live site. So there's a couple things that are going to be a little bit different, that are going to look different. I'm not going to use any of the features that aren't on the live site, but you'll see here we have Smart List. That's not active yet. So if your member drop-down menu looks a little bit different, that's why. But you're just going to go to List. I think you'll have Quick Search and List when you click on Members drop-down. I would just go to List. And then, again, this is going to look a little different. You're not going to have the Smart List button. But for pulling a data or for a membership report, usually what I recommend people do is use the advanced filter. And this is going to let you filter your membership by any of the information that we have on file for that member. So if you've assigned them a role in your club, you can sort by, or you can filter by each different role type. For memberships, there's all kinds of stuff that you can filter by here. We can do valid and invalid, all of the different membership types that we have and had, because some of those membership types are still active, or somebody might have an invalid one, an old one. You might want to know who those people are. We're only really going to look at our club for this. And then you can, if you need to, find out who your new members are, or find out who's already expired or who's expiring soon, you can filter by all of those fields here. So right now we're just going to do a quick valid, and yeah, I just wanted to see who all my valid members are. So I'll apply the filter. And so here is the list of all of my valid members. This is useful in some ways of just looking at them, but if you actually want to handle this data, then you're going to need to download a report. And to do that, you're going to hit Add Selection. And then you can add additional searches for this. Unfortunately, all of these searches are AND searches by default. So if you want to see who has valid or invalid memberships, you're going to have to do two different searches. So we'll have to remove valid, because nobody's going to have a valid and an invalid membership, and we'll add invalid. We're not going to pick a type, and we're going to apply the filter. So because I've added these people to my selection, they're staying populated over here. We're saving them for later. And then I'll hit Apply Filter. And now here's all the curlers that I added on that previous roster upload, and I haven't fully populated them. And so they exist in the system, but they don't have active accounts yet because I didn't go through the payment process for them. So you can see, I believe one of these, no. Okay. And we're going to add them to the selection as well. So now I can come up here and download the report. And now I can choose what fields I want to save. And this report is just going to spit out an Excel spreadsheet that will be emailed to you. So, and kind of the neat thing here is that you can click and drag these fields, and you can order what columns you want in your spreadsheet based on this. So you just click and drag. I want to put the email address first, because I'm trying to mimic that template format. So I'll have email address, first name, last name, date of birth, gender. On the template, gender goes before date of birth. And then I can come down here and click membership number, membership type. And I'm curious to what club they are in. So you'll notice that some of these fields repeat after a while. You don't have to check first name again to get it for more members. It's still going to list the first name for all of your members the first time that you check it. So once you start seeing duplicates, you can kind of just ignore these extra things down here, unless you find something like wheelchair type that's populated down here that you need in your report. So you might have to, if you don't see something in the first set and you see first name, you might want to keep scrolling. But generally speaking, that the stuff that you're going to access the most is in those first few fields. And you don't have to double check anything that you want in your report. Just have to click it once. We'll go to next. Download. It's going to ask if you want to save the report, but saving the report doesn't quite do what you would hope that it does. So I wouldn't recommend saving the report. So now it's going to tell me that that green window just popped up and said that it's basically, it's going to take a minute to download the report, and excuse me, it'll send me an email when it's ready. So while we wait for that email, I'll clear the selection and we can look at kind of the other fields that you can search over your members. Does anybody have any questions about the membership, by the way, or the membership filtering, by the way?
Don't see any hands up.
Okay. Back to it. So one question that I get quite a bit is for people asking, how many of my members have a valid SafeSport training, or are all of my, because we are required to require you to have all of your board members and certain other roles in your club to have a valid SafeSport training. So so sometimes people are like, I want to make sure that my club is compliant about this, and I don't know how to make sure, I don't know how to check their profiles. So one thing you can do is you can add those roles. Some of those roles have SafeSport requirements attached to them, and then you'll get other notifications about that. If you know who those members are, you can do one of these filter searches for Center for SafeSport Training. And one thing that's noteworthy here is that when you click on Center for SafeSport Training, it's going to drop down all of the different SafeSport trainings that are available in the in MyUSACurling. Not all of these, excuse me, are the valid training, the required training that you have to take for SafeSport compliance. So that's mostly just going to be the Center for SafeSport Training, and this is going to include your core training and all 3 of the refreshers. So if you want to know who has a valid SafeSport training, excuse me, just make sure that you come down to Center for SafeSport Training, that you're searching under the proper one, because abuse prevention for adult athletes is important, but isn't going to satisfy that requirement if that's what the information that you're looking for. And because, so when you hit apply filter, it's going to clear the people who are shown now, and it's only going to show people who satisfy that requirement that you're filtering for, which is just me. This is because I couldn't and didn't want to go in and make fake SafeSport trainings. I don't think that's allowed, and I wouldn't want to even try that if I could. But I actually have SafeSport training completed, so I show up, but none of my fake curlers do, because fake people can't take trainings. So if I come back up, and then I can see who's invalid, or I think I can see who's, yeah, not added. Not added, I think, means that they just haven't ever tried it. Invalid would mean that they have a requirement for it. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Bear with me. So invalid means that they've tried it, or they've taken it, or it's lapsed. Okay. So none of my members have attempted taking it, so they're not invalid, because they also don't have that requirement. Does anybody have any questions about these sorts of filters? Does everybody hopefully feel a little bit?
Well, Queen is just joining us. I'll let her in. Lauren, I don't see any questions in the chat. I don't see any hands up.
Okay.
It's either you're doing a great job explaining, Lauren, or everyone's incredibly confused. That's my take.
Sorry, I know this isn't exciting stuff, but I think these are questions that I get a lot, so hopefully this is helpful.
Just so everybody knows, Lauren's done an amazing job getting with Sport 80 since she started. And, you know, one of the reasons we're doing this is just to make it so that folks like you it's easier on all of you and more seamless, and we're not, you know, getting mistakes and having to go back to you. So.
And the more empowered you are to find this information about your club, I think the better you're going to feel, because you don't have to come waiting for me to get the answers that you're looking for.
I think Jessica has her hand up.
Okay.
Yeah,
ahead,
Lauren, I was wondering, do you have a little like glossary? Because you've said a couple of times like, hey, this says this, but it actually means this. And I was just curious if you have a glossary document for SafeSport.
I don't. That's a good idea. I can try. Unfortunately, right now is extremely busy season for me, but hopefully later in the season, in December or January, I if I have a little bit more time, I might. That's a good idea. I can try to make some sort of SafeSport, or not SafeSport, sorry, MyUSACurling / Sport 80 quick guide to kind of walk through the terms and some of the more useful features and get that in writing rather than just having people watch a video. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, I think it would be super helpful. I'm really appreciative of this class, and I'm taking my own notes, but I was like, maybe Lauren the master has a set of,
Hey, Lauren, we can get let's get Mackenzie to help you with that. Pull it together.
Okay. And Jessica, if I could ask you if you could send me your notes after this, just so I get a feel of what you guys are getting from this, then that would help me kind of tailor the report, because obviously I have a very different interaction with Sport 80 than you guys do. So understanding what you guys want to know more about would be really helpful for me when making something like this.
Absolutely. My notes are very lackluster right now. They just are things don't always mean what they say. So that was, and then I was like, let's see if there's a glossary. So, but yes, that was current note.
Sounds like my notes. So I've got notes too, Lauren. So.
Okay.
I'll try to take some better notes for you. Good.
I don't know if they're better.
No
they might be
worries.
very similar.
Okay. Sorry, it looks like we have a question in the chat. Stephanie asks, she was thinking about next. Was there another question? Did I miss a question?
There's somebody asked before.
Hi, sorry, I'll come off mute and just ask. I was wondering if you had questions later on after this meeting.
Oh, I see what you mean.
How could we ask you or someone?
Right. Okay.
Probably the best thing to do is just reach out to me by email. My email address is on the website, but it's also lauren.rich@usacurling.org. So to find it on the website, if you just don't memorize that, you would go to the About, I think it's the About Us, and then the staff page, and you can find me on the staff page.
You'll find all staff emails there. Sorry about making that way more confusing than it needed to be, Stephanie.
Oh, no, it's okay. No problem at all. I'm just imagining I'll have questions later, but I don't currently. So
yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so I guess the last kind of report that is probably the most useful for you guys would be for certifications. So if you want to know who all of the instructors are in your or in your club, if you're looking to host an event and you need instructors or something, you can come down. And again, the certifications are going to list, when you click on this drop down, it's going to list all of the certifications that we have and have had. So you're going to have to make sure that you're scrolling down to the right one. So coach certifications are coming soon. ICE technician certifications. We have some ones from the before times, and then I believe we're also coming soon. So we'll come down to instructor certifications, and we can look and see who is a valid instructor. There are types, so you can search for course conductors or just level 1 certified. I'm just going to look for anybody who has any certification, and then you'll see how many other fields we have to scroll past. It's a little bit faster maybe if you collapse the window and just scroll down to the bottom, but apply filter, no members found. Okay, clearly my preset of making a fake member have a fake certification didn't stick, but that's how you would do it if you actually were able to, if you do have proper certified instructors in your club. Okay, so if you hold on for just 1 minute, the report that we made earlier is ready. And oh no, it's on a screen that I'm not sharing with you guys because I have to put my password in. Sorry, 1 second. And I did want to help. I did want to kind of do this in real time, just so you guys can see all of the steps. I didn't want to have anything like prepackaged, but or too much prepackaged. So here's the custom report that I pulled from Sport 80 from MyUSACurling. So we have, I don't know if this is just me, but it happens a lot that it asks you to enable editing before you can actually do anything. So just if you're having trouble clicking on things or typing in things, just check for that button. And you'll see it didn't make member IDs for these members that I haven't.
I think your screen stopped sharing, Lauren. Were you still trying to share?
Yes,
sorry.
I was sharing.
Yeah, you were sharing. It's all right. You're back.
Okay. I think when I hit enable editing, it opened it as a new window. But you can see that these members that we added but didn't quite pay for yet, it's made a profile for them, but it hasn't assigned them a member ID because they don't have a full member ID, because they don't have a full membership yet. But this is the kind of the information that you can pull, that you would pull in a report. Oh no. That you'd be able to see. So this is the information that, like I said, that you would be able to pull. So you can see these member IDs here, and you can associate them with the email addresses and names that you have on file. And then you can double check with that with the birthdays. Does anybody have any questions about this? Does everyone feel like they would be able to pull this kind of report and repeat this process with their own club? Okay.
Lauren, just to validate, the order of the columns you were able to manipulate based on when you did the export, indicating which order you wanted those fields to be in?
Yes, that was that clicking and dragging. So I clicked the email address because the email address is buried down in there. So I had to scroll a little, and I clicked and dragged that to the top because I wanted that to be first. And then I just swapped the birthday and gender. And so when clubs, and I think a few of you on the call have asked for this, but when clubs have asked me for reports, this is the same process that I do. I just I don't go in as your club. I just go in as me and then add your club as one of those filters. And then I download this report and I send it to you. I might pretty it up a little bit if there's something wrong with it. Or I've usually just been renaming it and sending it out because custom report 2023-1101 doesn't mean anything to anybody. But this is the information that I've been pulling for clubs that have been requesting it. So hopefully you guys all feel comfortable with this, and hopefully that's been enough information for you guys to complete the rosters. I've gotten a few so far, and they've, for the most part, look pretty good. Okay. So if there's no more questions about that, we'll come back, excuse me, to my awesome curling club. And
where is that club, Lauren?
It is in the awesomest place.
It's in the most awesome place.
You can't put me on the spot like that, Dean. I don't know.
That's a good answer.
All right. So from my club's account, I have this field over here that has my roles. So I have Awesome 10 is club president, and I'm a club administrator. So club administrator is not necessarily a board member or a president or somebody. They're just somebody that the club has entrusted with all of this information. They can be your membership coordinator. or they can be a board member or president, and you can assign multiple roles to people. Or it can just be if you have a tech support person who you want to be able to handle this for you, you can assign that person. So if you have somebody, if your club doesn't already have an administrator or a president or somebody who can make these assignments, I think it's just administrators and presidents, but I could be wrong. Then you can contact me and I can set up an administrator for you. Just let me know who that person is. And once you have that person, then that person will be able to assign additional roles. So how we do that is you'll switch to your, and just, sorry, I didn't cover this. Once you have a role in a club, you can switch to the club's profile just by clicking your name and then finding them from the drop-down menu. So we'll go to our member list and I'll pick number 1. Certification. So it looks like I've already assigned some roles because you can see there's an action required. Oh no, I assigned an official certification. Okay. So for roles, and just sorry, did everyone see what I did there? I went to the awesome one profile and then I selected roles, and then I go to add role, and there's a number of things that you can choose from. Some of them have different permissions than others. For example, club president and club administrator, I know for sure can see all of your membership information. So they would have the member list that we walked through. I don't know if a club membership coordinator has that, which is confusing. But you could, if somebody is a membership coordinator and you want them to have access to that and they don't, you could add them as a club admin, which would give them full access. So a club admin absolutely has full access. I believe a president has full access, and then everybody else has kind of varying levels of membership access to member data. So if I want to add this person as a club board member, and then you'll see it's gonna warn you that you're granting them full access. And that's something that I could probably add to that quick guide, is what roles have what access, because this doesn't tell you all of the access that each of these roles has. It's just going to tell you for every role that they have full access, and that's not true. So for example, a club volunteer role doesn't give you membership access. So it's not going to, anybody that you assign as a club volunteer isn't necessarily going to be able to see all of your membership information, which is probably not what you would want from just a volunteer. Not just a volunteer, but somebody who's needing a volunteer role for example, for SafeSport training tracking. So I'm going to add them. And now I have an action required. This is because the board members are required to have a valid Center for SafeSport training. And like I said, I didn't assign that to any of my my curlers, my fake curlers. So now if I go back to my profile, if I go back to my club account, then you'll see active roles. So I didn't give Awesome 10 actual SafeSport training. I just lifted the suspension that comes with having an invalid SafeSport training or elapsed or not having satisfied that. So that's why 10 shows up as a club president under active roles. And then action required roles, these are going to be your folks for the most part who I don't know that I've seen anything that isn't action required, that isn't SafeSport training. So Awesome 1 is going to need to go in and take SafeSport training before they're going to have access to your membership data. And if you click on that little eye, it'll tell you what they're missing. Does anybody have any questions about roles?
Just as it relates to Sport 80, not in life or curling teams or anything else, only Sport 80.
Okay, and then if you say that Awesome 1 leaves your club or is no longer requiring, or they leave the board, and they don't need this role anymore, to remove their access, you don't have to delete the role from them. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Sometimes it's kind of nice, just for the sake of record keeping, to know who has had access to this, to leave it. So I would recommend not deleting anything unless you have to. So you go to actions, and then here's another thing, Jessica, that is not what it means. It doesn't mean what it says it means. you would think that you would go to edit. I can show you what edit does, and it is just this page that you can save. You want to go down to change and then change dates. And now I can add an end date to this here. If I make it that they started on Monday and they finished being a board member on Tuesday. Sorry. Now their membership has lapsed, or their role has lapsed. And if they've left the club, that's not a problem. Or if they've left that role, that's not a problem. They don't have to have this satisfied. It's just going to be there for a record that this used to be a thing that they had and they no longer have it. You can also change and extend it, you know, if they're reelected or something. Then one thing about the change dates is that once you go into the change function and hit change dates, you'll notice that all three of these are required. So if you want to change the from date for whatever reason, then you also have to then add a to date. So if you know what their term is, that's easy enough for you to do. When you guys ask me to add these roles, and that's fine, if I have to make a change like this and I don't know what the end date is going to be, I usually just pick something that's like 2 or 3 years in the future, because I think most board members or most clubs have a term that's somewhere from 2 to 3 years. And this is an easy thing for you to let me know if it needs to be changed or for you to change later. And then other things that you can change the role type. So, or not. Ignore that. You can see their history in the roles. So now you see all of these changes that I've made, that I've changed the to date and the from date. And then the date that I made those changes is today. Yeah, and so, like I said, if you go to your account, this person is going to show up as needing to do a thing. And then these people have already are in good standing. And then if I had left this person as being lapsed in that membership, then you have a historic roles button or roles list down here that shows kind of everyone who used to have this role but no longer. You can see what their old roles were. Does anybody have any questions about roles?
I don't see any hands. Dustin and Teresa just joined, so maybe what's the quick recap of what we went through? You don't need to go through it again, Lauren, but we started with the upload. And
so we did a bulk upload. I walked through that process and what information is more critical than other information from our end for that. And then we saw what happens when we're missing information on that. And I showed how to pull or report a membership report, Sport 80, a SafeSport compliance report, these sorts of things for your club, how to do those from the club profile, and then how to assign roles, which give people access to that club profile. So, sorry, Dustin and Teresa, I would recommend that you wait for, hopefully we'll get this video uploaded to YouTube in a couple of days, and then you can watch it. Let me know if you have any questions in the meantime.
There will be a recording of it up. And Dom, thanks. I'll ask you that question. We'll remember to circle back on that question at the end.
I think is this the end that we should circle back to Dom's question?
Not knowing when this presentation actually ended, Lauren, have we reached the end?
So that's everything that I wanted to cover.
Okay, great.
If you guys have more questions, I'm happy to stick around for a while and ask.
Dom Marico has a question, so you can.
Okay.
How are you doing, Dom?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
So I downloaded a report of our membership list, thinking that the CID would be the membership number, but it's actually, I think, our Sport 80 number.
Yes.
I don't see the USCA membership number as an option. on my when I download the report.
Are you in Sport 80 right now?
Yes.
Okay, I will walk through that again. If you can follow along with your club with me, and then let me know if your thing looks different. So I've added my valid memberships. I've applied the filter. I'm going to add these to the selection.
Yes.
And then I go to download report. So the membership ID is here under individual membership, membership number.
Okay, mine ends at address. I don't have those.
Oh my. What is your role in your club? Or in your, do you know, are you the admin? Are you a president?
Oh, I don't know. I know
Okay.
He's a let's see, I'm looking really quick. He's not, I think the admin is Shannon. And Dom is our treasurer.
Okay. That might be part of it.
Yeah, because I'm currently vice president in Sport 80 as well as a board member, and I'm not seeing the same stuff you've got as well. So I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Dominic is his role in Sport 80 is club treasurer.
Okay.
So
Dominic has been a chief umpire a number of times, so he expects total control, Lauren.
I don't know how other clubs run stuff, but at least for us, this type of like reporting is a treasurer duty. So I don't know.
Okay.
It might be something to think about giving treasurers also the bigger download access.
Yeah, we should probably do that, right, Lauren? Make sure that they have
Sorry.
Phil.
I'm not trying to sound exasperated. Yep. No.
You don't sound exasperated. We know you're doing a ton, so thank you. Like it's just I was like, oh, well, we got to get Dominic the right kind of access, which I can't give him because I don't have the right kind of access.
Yeah, let me look into that. And to be honest, if I'll have to look, that might be a question that I'll have to ask Sport 80, why you guys aren't seeing that. So it might take a few days or be like mid next week before I can get a response.
I'll get our administrator to look at it for me.
Okay, yeah, if you can let me know or have them let me know, that would be great too. Because that would be really frustrating if you guys can't see that. That was the whole point.
All right.
See, this helps us solve problems.
Yes. Yeah, because
Dominic,
it would not have
does
been.
look like you can have multiple roles, so it might just be efficient in that, and in that quick guide to just say like, hey, if people need to do exports, make sure you give them admin role plus whatever role they've got.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Stop sharing so I can actually see what's going on. Okay, are there any other questions that anybody has off the top of their head? Any red flags, anything that makes you uncomfortable, makes you more comfortable?
This is Jessica. We had a question also about timing because we're trying to coordinate this with our competitive curlers. And so from the point you receive the list, once we figure out how to get it with the numbers on it, what is your estimate on how much time will elapse before the memberships will be showing up in the Sport 80 system? And I know this is tricky because you don't know how many you're going to get at once, but it's like, you think like, oh, is it a week?
We'll go with 3 to 5 days.
I mean, we're just looking for a ballpark so we can tell our competitive curlers like, hey, this should show up in this amount of time because our region's getting ready to open up the competitive stuff. So we're trying to get our ducks in a row.
Yeah, I would say 3 to 5 days. I mean, 5 days certainly. I say that, but I have 2 that I haven't done this week. Yeah, I would say within a week I should be able to get it. I'm I'm in Bemidji right now helping with the ice for the Youth Olympic Games, and I'm planning on also working on some of the stuff throughout the weekend. So I'm trying not to get too behind, because I know you guys all have playdowns that are coming up. I know some playdowns registration closes tomorrow, or not tomorrow. What day is it? It's Wednesday, Friday. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting, and I am giving priority to the clubs, or to the clubs from regions that have playdowns that are closing. So if you send me an email and you say that your registration is closing in a week, I'm going to try really, really hard to get that turned around fast for you, so that your members have as much time as they can get to do those, to update their memberships and get registered and everything. Because I know that's not always a walk in the park either.
And Lauren, we'll get some help for you if you need.
Okay.
You know, since this is a new process for us, let's if you suddenly get, you know, well, we know how many clubs there are, but if you get a whole, we'll make it work.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Dean, for just the time frame, because we're trying to kind of pencil in our communication.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
that's helpful.
We appreciate, you know, I know we're asking clubs actually to do some of this earlier in the season, which is a change for most now too. But I think after we get this through this first year, it will be, you know, a whole lot easier. But this first year certainly presents some challenges. For instance, next year, the membership would expire November 30th. So if someone was trying to register for something right now, they still could, right? So.
kind of. If it's, sometimes they have to have a valid membership on the date of what they're registering for. So if their membership expires November 30th and the event is December 15th, they would still have to renew.
Lauren, just
I think to be able
keeping me from creating a problem next year. I thought that sounded, so it might not be quite that easy, but it will be better, Lauren. It'll be better.
It'll be better. We'll know more. It'll be smoother. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? I'll just say I definitely appreciate all of you, because I was a club president for a couple of years, and when they put my picture up on the wall, like all the club presidents, I said what I learned in those 2 years was that the treasurer should probably go on the wall, because that seemed like the biggest, most time-consuming job in the club. So appreciate all the work you do on this.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to go through this. I know it's not a super exciting, glamorous subject, so yeah, I really appreciate your dedication to this, and your help helps me a ton, and hopefully helps your club and your members have a smoother experience, especially as we're getting into the competitions registration as well. So thank you all so much for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.